I am a digital artist. All my professional work, all my personal work that I do for fun, everything I do is digital. But a lot of my subscribers have expressed an interest in seeing me explore some other mediums. I've seen a lot of other art channels that I really like: Draw with Jazza, Casey Golden, ZHC, Draw with Waffles, Box Office Artist. All of them have used this one, what I consider to be a pretty retro product that you've probably heard of, this stuff called paper? I'm not super familiar with it. I used to use it a lot more when I was younger. I have a lot of concerns about this product in terms of my workflow. For one thing, like with the iPad, I was shocked that you had to buy the stylus separately. With paper, not only do you have to buy the stylus separately, but you have to buy a different stylus for every different texture and color and ink brush size. You have to buy so many styluses to get this thing to work properly, and it's just, I think that's kind of crazy. But, you know, the paper itself is pretty cheap, so at least there's that. I'm also a bit concerned about the fact that there's no undo button, but it seems like the designers thought it would be, I don't know, funny to make it where to undo things, you have to buy this piece of rubber that you press against the paper and that undoes your lines, but it also doesn't always get rid of everything, and it's not compatible with a lot of the styluses that you buy. So, I don't know, I'll stop complaining, I'll try to go into it with an open mind, but basically this video is going to be a comparison of what I can do on paper with very limited art supplies and what I can do digitally, drawing the exact same thing. So I really was not kidding when I said that I haven't used paper in a while. Besides doing the occasional doodle, I do all of my work digitally, so this really did take me out of my element. And right off the top, I think partially because I was a little nervous, maybe I was just in a rush, I didn't do enough thumbnail sketches to decide the pose of the character, and I really wish I had, because I don't love the pose of this dragon. I don't totally love the design of it either. I wish I'd done something a little bit different with its head spikes. But that's not a problem with the medium, that's just me messing up right off the top of this drawing and project. One thing I will say about digital that I really like better is I can do a super rough drawing and then lower the opacity of that layer, add another layer on top of it, do a bit less rough drawing that's still rough, and then lower the opacity of that, and then go into my inking. With this, I kind of felt forced to go into the inking sooner because there was so much rough line work down that it just started getting faded out within all the other rough line work. But besides that, I do end up liking this piece once I get into the inking, and the shadowing I end up doing with just lighter roughing in layers of pencil drawings. And then my favorite part of this piece was actually something that a friend of mine suggested. I drew it on tan paper and then got a white pen so that I could do some lighting on this piece. If I'd done it on white paper, I wouldn't have been able to do that, and I think the lighting really helps the piece be better. So let's take a final look at what I managed to do drawing a dragon on paper. Okay, you know what, all things considered, I kind of like this. I do like the textures that come naturally with using traditional stuff. I think from looking at it, you can kind of tell that traditional art isn't my forte, but you know what, that's not bad. But now, let's get into something I'm really good at, digital art. I'm gonna draw the exact same thing on my iPad.
2 hours later.
Alright everybody, so while working on the digital drawing for this video, I got a little reminder of one of the upsides of traditional, that being that your paper is never going to crash on you like my iPad did. I apologize if this makes anyone feel misled, but just in case that were to happen again, I'm gonna do the digital drawing on my Cintiq, because I can pretty much guarantee that that thing's not gonna crash on me, and admittedly it's a better drawing tablet anyway. I mostly use this one for portable. I just thought it made a nicer thumbnail image. Sorry about that, but let's jump into the actual digital drawing right now. Now, immediately I felt back in my element drawing on my Cintiq. Even drawing on the iPad wasn't totally my thing because the screen is a bit slicker, but I really am a digital artist. I love working digitally. I can do the 2 layers of roughs that I mentioned earlier. I also worked the dragon's shape a little bit differently in a way that I liked a bit more. I made its nose a little bit more narrow, and I could really just do tweaks that I couldn't do on paper, like selecting out a part of it and reshaping it using the tools on digital. It really just is what I'm used to. And I mean, you're gonna be better at whatever you're most familiar with most of the time, but obviously there are a lot of helpful tools working digitally that can make you do things faster or just more efficiently that I wouldn't be able to do sometimes at all on traditional. I might have to redraw large sections. Anyone who watches my videos can see it's just my usual workflow. I end up just doing this one in black and white to keep it along the same lines as what I did traditionally. Since I didn't color the traditional piece, I felt like I shouldn't color this one, so I end up putting a tan background in the background of this one and just do it black and white. Again, doing the inks on this one felt better because I could totally get rid of my underlinings afterwards, and then I put in just gradients, which I love adding in gradients. In this case, I just do a white to a mid-gray gradient, and then I use a bunch of different shading techniques. I use different brushes, I use multiply layers, even though I guess I don't really need to, but then when I do my shading on different layers, I can change the opacity if I want the shading to be more intense or less intense. I also do a few different layers of cell shading, and just being able to manipulate the layers as I want was just really helpful, and just, of course, the fact of being able to erase things a lot more easily with just an undo button, or just the actual eraser actually completely erasing things, unlike in traditional. This was really me in my element. Wrapping it up here after I finish up the rim lighting, let's take a look at what I managed to do with my digital dragon. Well, here's a bit of an unexpected twist. I think I might actually like the traditional one better in this case. Now with that said, I do still prefer doing digital art. I like having access to lots of layers and undo buttons and tons of brushes that I can just download. But I won't write off doing more traditional work on this channel. I know people do like seeing it because a lot of people can't afford tablets or don't have access to tablets. So I will do more traditional art on this channel, but don't expect it to be a mainstay of the channel. Digital is still gonna be the main videos on here. But this was a fun little challenge. Which did you all end up liking better, the digital or the traditional? Let me know in the comments below, and do you wanna see another one of these? Do you wish that I'd used the iPad? Sorry that didn't work out. I really don't know what happened there. But anyway, this, was a fun challenge. Alright everybody, that's all for this episode. Thank you all so much for watching as always, and that's all for today. I'm Christian Pearson, and thanks so much for watching Popcross Studios. I will see you later.